Hi Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a reading for you guys. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Okay. So I do keep seeing the Empress. There may be something that you're doing that is a labor of love. It can be a creative thing that you're doing. It can be a project. It can be something that you're making. While the Empress can be nurturing and taking care of the things that are important to you, because the Empress is Venus energy. So this can be connected with our relationships. It can also be on the Taurian side of it, like think about the third house. It can also be connected with like your finances and stuff like that. How much money you're making, your resources. And the Empress in Tarot speaks about you harnessing your creativity and something being birthed through you, because it is the feminine aspect of our energy, which means like taking our creativity and doing something with it, producing something, creating something. Yeah, and other people may be involved in this, because I was seeing other people are involved in this, or they somehow have something to do with it, or you could be collaborating with other people or working with other people. But I'm seeing this kind of be your baby. Can also be a literal baby too, but I think collectively for the most part, this is something that is more energetic than physical. Okay, so there's learning going on, like learning and working through collaborating, and this can be like talking with people and being like, hey, I need information about that, or I'm trying to learn this, or I'm trying to figure out how like this part of something works, and getting into a space where there's like a lot that you're absorbing and learning and all that good stuff. You may also be learning from other people that have, say you want to know about a certain field, or there's something that you're into learning about. You may be looking at people who are involved in those things, or have know-how, or can guide you in some way, and help you out or give you insight. But I'm seeing it be more of like a working thing. Like I'm seeing it be a team thing where it's like everybody's working together. It's not necessarily like somebody up here and you down here, vice versa. It's more so everybody sort of learning from one another and exchanging and talking and all of that. We're starting off with the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles speaks about exchanging, like how much do I give, how much do I take. You can be thinking about prices and stuff like that. But you could also be thinking about like your values and why you're doing what you're doing too, and what's it going to take for it to be worth it to you as well. Like maybe what do I need back from this thing that I'm giving to for it to matter to me, or like what is my purpose? Whatever this is about the reciprocity, it's going to take a little bit of patience on your end, because it may be something that like gradually comes into balance, but it may not feel exactly balanced in the very beginning, and it's just going to take a little bit of adjusting and growing for it to get to where you want it to go. I mean, that can also be with a relationship too, speaking of Venus. I keep seeing the King of Cups on the bottom of the deck. There may be something that can, if you allow it to, it's going to penetrate your energy, but you really have the say here within this situation. Somebody may be looking at you and being like, that's what you think you deserve. This can also be the voice in your head that's like, maybe I don't deserve as much. It's kind of like undervaluing yourself in some way. It can also be like overvaluing too. It can go either way. But with this, it's more so like there's this part of you that's like, hey, you deserve this much, or like, this is what feels equal to me, or if I'm going to be in a relationship with this person, this is how I want to be treated. This is like, what is it going to take for you to enter into a situation and feel like you are like seen, heard, and valued in the way that you want to be, like validated in that way for yourself, or even doing something that's worth it to you on an energetic level, if this isn't like physical money or resources that you're getting, or if I'm going to be in this relationship or like living with this person, then I expect that you take out the garbage on Tuesday and I'll do it on Thursday. You know, stuff like this where it's all speaking about the exchanges that we have of energy, but there may be like a voice coming through, and this can be a critical voice that that comes through of like, oh, I don't deserve this, even though there's this part of me that's like, I would feel valued if this were the way that things were working out within the equation. There can be this voice that's like, you don't deserve it, or you're not good enough to have that, or I need to take that because people aren't going to give it to me. You know, all of these things where we start seeing ourselves as me versus them. It's this thing that derives from like a separateness mentality, and it's also something that can create some sort of like competition within ourselves. So just make sure that if you are leaning in that direction, to be mindful of it, because things like you comparing yourself to other people and really throwing you off your mission can happen. And also too, this is where like jealousy and resentment can come from, or like, this person's doing that and they're making that much, but I'm only making this much, and you know, like getting just lost in all of that. There was somewhere else that I wanted to go with this. It'll come back through again. But yeah, you also want to be mindful too of who you're exchanging energy with, because people that put you in this space, because this can be an influence from other people as well, people that put you in a space where you're like, I have to keep secrets and I have to strategize against all these other people, and it's like you start having these feelings that there are all these like enemies around you and stuff like that. You start feeling like paranoid, because this is like survival mode. This is like, I'm going to take this away from these people so they can't take advantage of me. It's just a closed heart chakra space. Oh yeah, this is also where it was going to. With the Five of Swords too, it can be like this perfectionist vibe as well. Like you really holding yourself to an unusually high standard that's like really unnecessary, but coming from this like meticulous place where you may find yourself being a bit unreasonable, like with you and yourself. So yeah, just make sure, check in what is motivating your mindset when it comes to your values, okay, and what you're working towards, and what you feel like you deserve within your situations. Five of Swords is also like an expectant energy. It can be like kind of anticipating something, but it can be overcompensating, because that anticipation is looked at as like, I'm either going to be taken advantage of, or I'm going to take advantage of other people, or like me versus them. Again, it creates this divisive energy where things are divided and separated. So if you're feeling like that, it's something to check in with. And you can even be feeling that within yourself. Like there are these parts of yourself that feel divided. Like, I feel safe in this situation, I don't feel safe in that situation. And then you have this thing that's battling you where it's like, it can be even like, I want to do my work and I want to touch other people, but then this part of me that's worried about like money and finances, and those two are fighting with one another. Or this part of me that's like, I feel like I can genuinely help with the work that I'm doing, but then like, what are other people thinking, and are they criticizing me? And now I feel paranoid because all I'm thinking about is how other people are perceiving me, or how I'm perceiving myself, and how I'm projecting that energy onto me. The daily life of an air sign. All of the different thoughts. But yeah, it's being mindful of what you're subscribing to. Like, what energies are you subscribing to? Are you subscribing to ones that derive from a place of fear and that's how it's motivating you? Or are you motivated by a sense of empowerment and I want to bring like love and connection and good into the situations that I'm moving in? Okay. This is a topic that may come up. I'm hearing in the latter half. I'm seeing this as being like a bit in the future. I'm seeing you're also making progress with seeing something that maybe in the beginning you didn't see as being problematic, and now you see it as like, I don't need to take that stance anymore because that's not going to be helping me. Because, like, let's, even just in an interpersonal way, this can be like showing up and being like, I'm giving you this and I expect that you're going to give me something in return. Or like, I'm going to like say that I'm splitting this down the middle, but actually take more for myself because I know that if you were in my position, you'd do the same thing and like cut me out of the deal or whatever. You know, it's like that sort of energy where it's like very competitive. But again, like this can be with you and yourself, something that you're working through right now where you're feeling like this back and forth oscillation of energy. But yeah, but it's not a good feeling because you don't feel safe and you don't feel at peace. You feel like, hey, I need to watch my back here because like something is going to happen and there's like this sense of doom around it. And again, like it is this feeling of sort of being in survival mode and that like paranoia that comes from, I'm hearing the propagation of separateness. Okay, you can keep going. Which comes from a shadow space. Shadow, subconscious energy. Also too, like if you're putting yourself in a situation and you don't like how you're being treated or you feel like something is unfair, if you are staying in it, if there's this part of you that's like, you go to bed at night and there's this little voice that comes out and is like, I don't like how I'm being treated within this situation, within this dynamic, or within this exchange. And then this other part of you is like, no, we have to stay in it. It's like, then this little 5 of Swords, which can be triggered and activated within anybody, comes up and it's like, now I feel resentful of this situation that I'm in because I'm feeling stressed out because something isn't fair. So you may be doing something and it's become too difficult to maintain that balance anymore, which is something to look into because it may not be in alignment with your values any longer. Because if you're having feelings come up where you're feeling like animosity, anger, resentment, separateness from whoever or whomever this is that you're working with, it's something to pay attention to because something may not be agreeing with you and it's going to be on you to need to make a change if you want to be able to let go of this. Because you carrying around the 5 of Swords energy, and this can be like you not forgiving somebody, it can be like staying angry about something, like not allowing yourself to process through and just like holding on and being like, I don't care if it drowns me, I'm gonna hold on to it anyway. And then you have like the manifestation of things coming up that are like, it's a spiritual or energetic issue that then becomes manifesting physically for you. So it's something to be mindful of, or manifesting psychologically for you, which I still see that as a physical manifestation anyway, because it then will go about affecting your behavior. Yeah. What this really comes down to, and it looks like it's connected with, like, do I deserve love? Like, even if I see myself as being imperfect, and what type of standard am I holding myself to? And like, do I deserve to be like recognized or valued for the work that I'm doing, even if it's not perfect? Like, I just get this Five of Swords energy being very much internal, but for some of you, you may be, the way that you're experiencing this is like you're experiencing it happening between you and another person. But even if you are, know that that is deriving from something internally. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening in that way. Like, you wouldn't see the energy in this way. So yeah, there's a connection that feels in some way like there is. It reminds me of a hose. And you know, if you knot a hose, how the water stops coming out? It's like, this is supposed to be like a line that is free of anything moving through it. And I'm seeing the Five of Swords, which is going to like create some sort of like kink in the hose. It's not going to allow the water to move all the way through. But I'm seeing this as being actually like some sort of buildup. To have this, it's like something is getting clogged now because it's become too stressful. And I'm seeing there may be something mentally that's manifesting for you that doesn't feel good. Because you know that it's like an alteration of what is meant to be. There's like something that maybe doesn't feel pure in the way that it's meant to be. And you can at least feel that energetically. Especially too, because like, you know, like you derive from a place that is like, you are pure love and you are pure energy. So if you're in a situation that's not feeling like that, of course you're going to be able to sense the difference and discriminate that. Which it seems like this is happening, and it may be getting to a point where it's like, I can't ignore this anymore, because like I'm actually seeing an image of wherever this hose has been like knotted off or it's being pinched. It's like in the cartoons when this like the water starts growing really, really, as you can see, like my very Piscean mind here. It's in the hose, and in the cartoons, like the whole big like bowling ball of water starts moving through, and it's going to like break that part of it. Like something's gonna have to break loose, because that water's gonna have to go somewhere. Like that pressure is coming through. And so I'm seeing this as very much being like the building that's been happening, and the water like bending the hose and it really expanding. And something is going to break through now, because the growth has to go somewhere. And this again can be like a spiritual thing that's manifesting, a spiritual and energetic thing that's manifesting for you physically now, where you feel like your mind or your body and or feeling affected by this. I'm seeing what you really want to create and what you really want to manifest is like harmony and a harmonious relationship, and maybe even being in a stable connection with someone. But it's going to take looking back and getting to the very beginning of this. It's sort of like every time I try to do this, or every time I try to create stability in my life in this way, whether it be with a person or with a job, or with my activities that I'm doing, whatever falls under that category for you, there's something that like you want to be committed and a part of, and something that feels like it's harmonious for you. And I'm seeing like this is what you are going to be manifesting, but we need to go all the way back to the beginning of like, what's up here? What's the issue here that's going on that is not allowing this to manifest properly for you? And I see it very much as this thing that happens where it's like you have your values, and you keeping like a list where you can be consciously aware in some way of your values is going to be important, because when your values are undermined, or you're participating in relationships with people where there's a lack of you feeling valued, or you feeling like something is out of balance or out of alignment for you. It's like there's this feeling even subconsciously or behind the scenes that starts coming up. So even if you want to be like, no, it's okay that they said they would take the garbage out on Wednesday and they never do, and I always get stuck doing it. It's like whatever this is for you that builds where you're like, I don't feel like I'm treated as an equal, or however it is that you want to be treated, that's not happening. And then you being like, it's okay, let me sweep that under the rug, and let me sweep this under the rug, and let me like not show up for myself again and again and again. And that's where I'm seeing this 10 of Wands come from. It's like you getting to a point where you feel like this relationship has turned into the opposite of what you value within a connection, within a relationship. And this is where I'm seeing that like build up that's happening, where something has been pinched and it's like going to explode. And I'm seeing there be like how this is manifesting for you is through like resentment and anger, because it's like you're like blaming maybe this other person. It can also be self-blame too. But let's just use another person, and if it's you with you, I feel like that's more abstract for some people. So we're just gonna, again, let's say that this is another person. So you look at this person and being like, oh, like I hate this person that I'm partners with, or like I hate that they do this or that they don't do that. And then you start feeling so angry and so resentful, and it's hard to find the love that you have for this person. And I mean, it doesn't just have to be like a romantic partner. This can be like your parents, it can be siblings, it's like anybody you can be in a relationship with. And you look at them and you're like, at the bottom of it, if you get to the catalyst of this, it's like, I don't feel valued here. And because I'm not showing up for myself and saying, hey, don't treat me like that, or hey, this isn't okay with me, or setting a boundary, if you don't take the garbage out on Wednesday, I'm leaving, you know, whatever this is for you, because it's something that, like, really it's not agreeing with you anymore. But it's hard to set those boundaries, because then it means, hey, what if that means I'm going to be alone, or I'm going to have to support myself financially, or whatever. However, yeah, it can be so much easier to prioritize worldly issues of, I'm just going to stay in this situation, even though energetically I'm not okay with it. I'm going to stay in it because there's something worldly that I'm getting from it. But then you have these manifestations of things that are happening for you psychologically, physically, because of something spiritually, energetically that's going on. But by only prioritizing what's going on within the 3D, like within a worldly sense, it may be something else, something that's like unseen or hidden that we need to get to the bottom of. Because I'm seeing this be like a very corrosive element that is hindering you and not allowing something to be harmonious in the way that you want to build it. Because I'm seeing like the desire within your heart is to have loving connection, and like who in the world wants to be like, yeah, I want to be resentful, yeah, I want to be angry, yeah, I want to like have all of these wild thoughts about my partner and revenge and like all of these things, you know, like all this stuff that comes up for us naturally, because you turn into this like almost animalistic energy of, what does it all come back to? My needs are not being met. However, if you're in a situation with somebody and it's very clear that your needs are not being met, whose job is it to make sure that your needs are being met? It's yours. But it can be, again, very difficult, because that means, hey, I need to set a boundary, and hey, I need to follow through with that then. But this is the way. This is the way. This is the answer. This is how you are going to manifest that pure type of connection that you want. By being in a situation, and as soon as you see, hey, that's not working out, I've tried it this way and that way, and I've spoken to them and it's not happening, and what it comes down to is a lack of compatibility. I don't need to be angry at this person, I just need to know that's not the right fit for me and what I need. And as much as you can be in this space where it's like, oh, why do I need this thing? If only I could make this need go away. I wish I didn't need it. At the same time, there are certain things innately within us where it's like, I do have that need. And I'm not going to feel like I can be like my best self if I stay in this situation. And so And this is like relevant to all of your relationships, not just like your closest relationships. It's all of your relationships. So it's about like checking in with your needs, recognizing that yes, you do have needs, and then countering them back with, are they being met in this situation? Can I do something about it? If I've tried everything and it's still not working, is this something that I can live with, or do I need to move on? Rather than staying in a situation where you know your needs are not being met, and then again having this building feeling where you're projecting all of this anger and upset onto somebody else, when really you're just feeling that way about yourself because you're keeping yourself in a situation that's not resonating with you. It's not in alignment. But what I'm seeing now is that there's this like understanding, and this is really going to be absolved by pure love. This is like the love that you have for yourself, the trust that you have in whatever it is that you believe in, yourself, your higher self, spirit. So when we connect with that rather than fear, it's going to allow you to actually plant the seeds for this type of relationship that you want. This thing that you can be committed to where you actually feel like it's harmonious. And I'm seeing this is what's coming up for you. But to have the Judgment card, it's like, I'm seeing your guides being like, yes, look at this little flash of what the future can look like for you, of I'm investing in a relationship where I'm going to be happy to be here within this relationship. And like, that's what my future can look like for me, because that's what I'm investing in, and doing so in a pure way, like doing so in the right way. And the Judgment card is like, well, now you can see what you can do here. Like, do you want to stay in this situation and have this continuously building for you and not feeling good? Or do you want to switch things up? So what's it going to be? And to have Temperance on the bottom of the deck, it's like, take your time. Each of us are going to be moving through this process differently. Some people, it may take you a day to move through this process. For other people, it may take 3 years to move through this process. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just continue checking in and looking in on your journey, and just move at the pace that feels right for you. And that's what Temperance is about. Temperance is about adjusting and moving at a pace that resonates, not looking around, just staying focused on you and what you're doing. And it looks too like there is a decision that's going to need to be made as well. That Two of Swords is like, a decision needs to be made. You may have kind of felt that this decision could be made. You could have been avoiding it or not wanting to make this choice yet. You also, like, for some of you, you could have been like trying to work things out with a partner too, but you're getting to a point where you're like, no, it really just doesn't work, you know? And that's not your partner's fault. That's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just, it's not compatible for where you are right now. All right, so I'm just looking at Pluto. Pluto, big change. Pluto is also about like investigating things and getting down to the bottom of it, to the catalyst of like what is the issue here and what's going on, and kind of like not stopping until you have like dug out everything that is causing decay, so you can really have something that creates a solid I'm hearing foundation, and I'm also hearing fortune for you. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.